Arav woke up to silence. The kind of silence that didn't feel peaceful but empty. The kind that echoed. Her toothbrush was gone. Her favorite yellow sweater wasn't hanging behind the door anymore. Even her scent had faded from the pillow. Mahor had really left. He sat on the floor, not even touching the bed. The letter she gave him on there last night still sat untouched on the shelf, wrapped in brown paper, sealed with a tiny sticker shaped like a star. Mahor loved stars. She always said, when we can't find light, we just look up. Stars don't shout, they just shine. But now, even the stars felt far away. Arav didn't tell anyone. His friends messaged asking if he was okay, but he left them unread. He didn't go to work, didn't check his email. He ordered food but barely ate. Every corner of the house reminded him of her. The kitchen where she once danced while cooking, the balcony where they watched rain together. Even the mirror, where her sticky note once said, "You're enough." It had only been 4 days, but it felt like a year. On the 5th morning, something changed. He opened an old drawer and found Mahor's charger, tangled and unused. Next to it, his phone buzzed. A video notification popped up. The sender, Meher. His heart froze. He opened the message. It was a private video link on a platform they used to share silly clips on. The title simply read, "Play this when you can breathe again." He clicked play. Mahor appeared, sitting by a window, her hair tied back, no makeup, eyes tired but shining. "Hey Arav," she whispered. "If you're watching this, it means you haven't given up completely. That makes me proud. I'm sorry I didn't explain much. I knew if I told you everything, you would have tried to stop me. You always put others before yourself. But I needed you to think about you this time. This goodbye, ... It wasn't just about leaving, it was about giving you something bigger than us." He paused the video. His hands were shaking, his throat was dry, his chest felt tight. He couldn't cry. Not yet. Not until he understood why she left. He hit play again. "I know you'll be angry, confused, maybe even hate me for a while," she continued. "But that's okay, just don't let that anger eat you. I've left something behind. Something that will only make sense if you choose to live with open eyes, not a closed heart." Her voice cracked, but she smiled. "There's a list. A stupid little notebook. Find it, do what it says. Don't skip a single one, and promise me this: you won't just exist, you'll live. Live for both of us." The video ended. Black screen. Just like that. Aarav didn't move for a long time. Then he slowly walked over to the shelf and picked up the brown paper letter. Still sealed, still heavy. But instead of opening it, he held it close and whispered, "Not yet." He remembered what she said in the video. There's a list. A notebook. Where could she have hidden it? He began searching, carefully, gently, as if touching her memory. In the cupboard under her side of the bed, behind her old sketchbooks, he found a small, worn notebook with a single sentence on the cover, written in Maher's familiar, curved handwriting, "For when you're lost." He sat on the floor and opened the first page. Mission 1. Feed a stranger who's hungrier than you, and sit with them while they eat. He blinked. That's it. No explanation, no reason. Just one task. Arav closed the notebook. That night, he didn't cry, but he didn't feel numb either. The next morning, he walked to the local bus stop. He sat on a bench for hours, watching people. A man walked by, skinny, wearing torn sandals, looking tired and hollow. The man sat 2 benches away. Arav walked up to him. "Hey, have you eaten?" The man looked up slowly. "No, it's been a day." Arav nodded. "Come with me." They went to a small restaurant nearby. Arav ordered 2 plates of food. As the man ate, Arav sat silently. The man looked at him and said, "Why are you doing this?" Arav smiled softly. "Because someone I love told me to." They didn't talk much. But when they finished, the man reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. "Someone gave this to me weeks ago," he said I'd know who to give it to when the time came. Arav opened it. Inside was a handwritten note. "If you're reading this, Arav, you did it. You took the first step. Keep walking." It was signed M. His heart stopped. Mahor had planned even this. As he looked up from the note, the man was already gone. Vanished into the crowd. Aarav clutched the paper. For the first time in days, he felt his chest rise with something other than pain. Hope. The list was just beginning, and the second mission would shake him even more than the first. Arav didn't sleep that night. He just kept reading the note the man had given him. Maher's words written in her soft handwriting. It was like hearing her voice again. She had planned it all. She knew what he would do. She knew he would listen. The notebook sat on his lap. 1 page was already done. He turned to the next mission 2. Find the boy who gave you his lunch in 8th grade. Dan. Thank him. Arav blinked. That memory came crashing back. He was 13, quiet and awkward. One day he forgot his lunch, and while others laughed at him, one boy sitting behind him noticed. Without saying much, the boy quietly pushed his own lunchbox toward Arav and smiled. Arav never forgot the act, but he never asked the boy's name either. He closed the notebook and whispered, "Mahor, how do you even remember this?" The next day Arav walked into his old school. Nothing had changed. The blue gate, the same. Cracked walls. Even the same peon stood near the entrance. "Sir? I studied here a long time ago. I'm trying to find someone." The peon looked up and narrowed his eyes. What year? 2008. The peon scratched his head. Many boys came and left. Do you remember his name? No. Just his face. And that he wore a green jacket with a yellow zip. It sounded silly. Impossible. But the peon nodded slowly. Wait, that sounds like Danny. Arav's heart skipped. Do you know where he is now? Last I heard, he works at the mechanic shop near the railway station. Arav rushed out. The whole way there, memories flooded in. The moment he opened that lunchbox, the taste of warm paratha, the smile Danny gave, how he disappeared a few months later. When Arav reached the shop, he saw a man under a car, his clothes greasy, his hands black with oil. Arav waited. The man crawled out and stood up. Their eyes met. He still had the same kind eyes. Danny? Arav asked. Danny wiped his hands and tilted his head. Yes, I don't know if you remember me. I was in your class. You once gave me your lunch when I had none. Danny looked stunned for a second. Then his eyes lit up. Oh man, Arav right. Arav nodded, smiling. I've been looking for you, Arav said softly, just to say, thank you. I never forgot what you did. It meant more than you know. Danny's eyes glistened. Nobody remembers things like that anymore. Arav pulled out a small wrapped box from his bag. Inside was a fresh lunch, Meher's favorite, recipe one she had taught him. She wanted me to thank you properly. She remembered the story. This is from both of us. Danny took the box with shaking hands. Is she your wife? Arav hesitated. She was, someone I loved deeply. She's gone now. Danny didn't ask more. He just nodded respectfully. They sat outside the shop and shared the meal. Just like that old day. As Arav stood to leave, Danny said, funny thing, I once thought I was invisible. No one saw me. I used to wonder if I mattered. You showing up like this, it means I wasn't forgotten. Arav smiled and walked away, but inside, his chest ached. Mehor had made someone feel seen again. Even through him, he reached home and turned the page to the next mission. Mission 3. Go to the hill, where you once planned your future. Take the camera with you. The hill, their secret place. The place where Mehor once said, let's build dreams. Here, time. That night, Arav climbed the hill with her old camera slung around his neck. The wind was strong, but the sky was clear. He sat down where they used to sit, a broken stone bench. He turned on the camera. It had one video saved. He pressed play. Face appeared again. This time she was sitting on this very hill. Double quotes. Hey, if you're watching this, you climbed back. Good. She laughed softly. We always said we'd shoot a film here one day, but maybe life became our real movie, huh? She paused, looking at the sky. Arav, I know you're hurting, but I also know you. You don't break, you rebuild. That's your gift. Every time I fell apart, you helped me stand. Now it's my turn to do the same for you, even from far away. She turned to the camera. Use this place. Use this view. Make something beautiful here. Make a film. About life, about love, about how silence can say more than words. The video ended. Arav sat there, breathless. He took the camera and pointed it at the sky, then at the bench, then at the empty space beside him. I will, he whispered. I'll make it. As he turned to leave, something shiny caught his eye under a rock. A small charm, Meher's favorite one, shaped like a heart with wings. She had left it for him. A sign. He picked it up and closed his eyes. Back home, he opened the notebook again. The next page read, now you're ready to meet the person I never told you about. No name, no clue. Just that line. Who was this person, and why had Mehor kept them a secret all this time? Arav stared at the line on the notebook for a long time. Now you're ready to meet the person I never told you about. That one sentence spun around in his head. Why would Mehor hide someone from him? Who was this person? A friend? A family member? A stranger who mattered to her in ways he never knew? He turned the page, hoping for more, but it was blank. Only that one sentence. He leaned back, the notebook resting on his chest. Her voice played again in his head, calm and full of love. She had written this all knowing it would reach him after. She was gone. She had prepared every step carefully. So whoever this person was, it mattered. He needed help. The next morning, he visited Mehor's old neighbor, Auntie Sheila, who had known Mehor since childhood. I'm sorry to bother you, Arav said softly, standing at her gate. But Mehor left me something, a list, a journey, and now it's led me here. She said I should meet someone she never told me about. Auntie Sheila's face changed. For a moment she looked surprised, then unsure, then sad. She told me this might happen, Auntie Sheila said finally, stepping aside. Come in, Beta. Inside, the air smelled of warm tea and old books. Photographs lined the walls. Mehor, as a baby, as a schoolgirl, dancing at her cousin's wedding. Did she ever mention her visits to the orphanage? Auntie Sheila asked. Arav shook his head. Never. She went every year, quietly, never told anyone except me. She called it her escape, said it reminded her of something important. Important like what? Auntie Sheila sighed. One year she met a girl there. The child wouldn't speak to anyone. She sat alone under the tree every day. But one afternoon Mehor took her hand and gave her a red ribbon. That little girl smiled, spoke for the first time in weeks. After that, Mehor never missed a single visit. Araf's voice cracked. Did she adopt her? No, she wanted to. But life didn't allow it. She kept visiting, writing letters, sending gifts. She told me if something happens to me, I want Arav to meet her. She will show him the rest of me. Arav's eyes filled with tears. What's her name? Auntie Sheila got up, walked to a drawer, and pulled out a small envelope. Inside was a photograph of a young girl, maybe 13 now, holding a red ribbon in her hair. Her name is Tara, she said softly. She's at Sunrise Orphanage. That evening, Arav stood outside the gates of Sunrise Orphanage, nervous. The children played in the yard, their laughter echoing. A kind woman met him at the door. You're Arav? She asked kindly. He nodded. Mahor told us about you. Tara is expecting someone, but she doesn't know it's you. Inside, the walls were painted with cartoons and poems. The air smelled of crayons and soap. They led him to a quiet room, where Tara sat reading on a mat. She looked up, confused. Are you my drawing teacher? Arav smiled, heart pounding. No, but I knew someone you knew. She tilted her head. Mahor? He nodded. She sent me. Tara's eyes sparkled, then fell. She's not coming back, is she? Arav sat beside her. No, but she left you something. And me too. He handed her the camera. On it, a folder titled For Tara. She opened the first video. Mahor's face lit the screen again. Hey little star, Mahor said gently. If you're watching this, it means I had to go. But guess what? I've sent you my best friend Arav. He's a little grumpy sometimes, but has the kindest heart. Tara laughed through her tears. I want you to show him the world the way you see it. Take him to your favorite places. Make him laugh. Make him remember. The video ended. Tara turned to Arav, her voice a whisper. Can we go to the park tomorrow? Yes, Arav said without hesitation. Anywhere you want. The next few days were like nothing he expected. Tara dragged him from street corners to food stalls, to the old tree where she read stories aloud to younger kids. She painted, she danced in the rain. And she asked him questions Mahor once did. What scares you the most? What's something you've never told anyone? What do you want to do if no one could stop you? She was a mirror of Mahor, brave, curious, full of light. But she was also her own wiser in ways no child should be. On their 5th day together, Tara brought out an envelope and placed it in Arav's hands. She gave me this and said only give it when he starts smiling. Again, Arav opened the letter, heart trembling. Dear Arav, you found her. I knew you would. You always followed the quiet signs. She's not my replacement. She's my gift to you. In her, you'll see the parts of me I never had time to show. You'll see strength, chaos, joy, and healing. Most of all, you'll see hope. I don't want you to be alone. So take the next step. It's time. Look inside the notebook. You're almost there. Mahor opened the notebook. The next page had one single line. Now share our story with the world. His breath caught. Did she mean? Really share? His camera was full. His heart, overflowing. And Tara's laughter echoed behind him. But could he do it? He looked at the last blank page of the notebook. For the first time, it was waiting for his words. Arav sat in his tiny apartment, the camera in his hands. He hadn't turned it on since the last video with Tara. Outside, the city moved fast, cars honking, lives rushing, but inside, time felt slow, heavy still. Mahor's last line echoed in his head. Now share our story with the world. He had never been someone who shared. He kept things inside. He filmed others, told their stories, made them shine. But now Mahor had asked him to do the one thing he'd always feared open up. He connected the camera to his laptop. Video after video appeared on the screen. Mahor laughing, Mahor dancing, Mahor walking through old markets and singing songs to stray dogs. Then Tara running with bare feet, painting on walls, reading poetry to the wind. He watched it all in silence. The clock ticked past midnight, and then, with trembling fingers, he opened a new editing file. For the next 4 days, he didn't sleep properly. He stitched the clips together gently, almost like handling something sacred. Every second mattered. Every word had weight. He recorded his voice over it, soft, unsure, emotional. This is not a story of loss, he said. It's a story of what love leaves behind. He showed Mahor's laughter, her illness, her strength. He showed Tara's journey, how a girl with nothing gave meaning to someone who had lost everything. He didn't name the video anything fancy. Just, for Mahor, for Tara, for the ones who stayed after goodbye. When he hit upload, his hands were shaking. For hours, nothing happened. He thought maybe it would go unnoticed. But by morning, his inbox was full. Thousands of messages from strangers, from parents who had lost children, from children who missed their mothers, from people who had no one but now felt seen. Some wrote, "Thank you for showing what love looks like." Others said, "I haven't cried in years until now." The video crossed 2 million views in just 3 days. One comment stood out. "This made me call my dad after 10 years. Arav didn't reply to any messages. He just watched in quiet disbelief. His and Mahor's little story had reached the world, but it wasn't just a video now. It was something more. On the 4th night, a call came. Unknown number. He picked up. "Is this Arav?" "Yes, this is Priya from Channel 7. We saw your video. We want to talk to you. Maybe feature your story." Arav hesitated. He wasn't ready for fame. That was never the point. "I'm not sure," he whispered. but Tara stood beside him, holding his hand. She smiled and nodded, so he said yes. The interview happened in a quiet studio. The anchor asked simple questions, but Araf's voice still shook. I didn't expect people to care, he said. Why do you think they did? The anchor asked. He looked at the camera. Because love doesn't disappear, it changes form, and sometimes, it comes back. Through people you least expect. The segment aired on national TV. Messages flooded again, but this time, something different happened. People started donating not to Arva but to Sunrise Orphanage. Someone even sent a check to sponsor Tara's education. The orphanage called Arv in tears. You've changed everything for these kids. Arav visited again. Tara ran up to him and handed him something smaller. Locket. Inside was a photo of Mahar and a tiny picture of them both sitting under the tree. She'd want you to have it, Tara said. That night, as he walked back home, Arav felt it. Not just the loss, but the purpose, the one Mahar had seen before he ever did. The next morning, he got up early. He opened a new channel. Not about tech. Not about reviews. He called it Letters After Goodbye. The first video, a short clip of Tara painting you, are not alone on a wall. He made no intro, no music, just raw, real stories of people like Tara, children who lost everything, grandmothers raising their grandkids, a boy who danced to remember his father. Within a week, the channel hit 100K subscribers. But Arav didn't care about the numbers. Each comment that said, I feel seen, or I thought I was the only one, became the reward. And then, one afternoon, as he was editing a video, he got a message from Mahor's younger brother Dev. I saw your video, I cried. I also hated you. For a long time, I blamed you, for not being there, for leaving. Her Arab's chest tightened. But the message continued. She told me she forgave you. Before she died I couldn't understand why. Until now I think. Maybe she was right. The message ended with a line Arav wasn't ready for. I want to meet. Can we talk? Arav sat frozen. This was the turning point he didn't expect. One person from Meher's life he had never dared to face, now wanted to see him. He looked at Tara, sitting beside him, humming a tune while sketching. He turned to her and asked, Do you think I should go? Tara looked up and said softly, If it helps you find peace, yes. He nodded slowly. Arav stood outside the cafe, heart pounding. It was the same cafe where Mihor once brought him hot chocolate on a rainy day, saying, Some places feel like hugs. But today, it felt like walking into the past. The bell above the door jingled as he stepped in. A boy with the same sharp eyes as Mahor looked up from a corner table. Dev Mahor's younger brother. The last time Arav saw him, he was still in school, angry, silent, grieving. Now, he was a man. Still angry, but something softer flickered in his eyes. You came, Dev said. I wasn't sure you would. Arav sat down quietly. I wasn't sure either. For a few minutes, neither spoke. Just the hum of the coffee machine and clinking cups around them. Then Dev broke the silence. Why did you leave her, Arav? That day she waited, she was scared, and you didn't show up. Arav felt his throat tighten. I panicked. I was scared too. I thought, if I stayed, I'd only watch her die slowly, and I didn't know how to handle that. Dev's voice cracked. But she never stopped loving you. Even after all that pain. Do you know how hard it was for her? Arav nodded. I know now. I didn't back then. Dev leaned back, tears in his eyes. She told me something. A few days before the end, she said Arav wasn't weak, he was just lost. And if one day he finds himself, I'll be proud of him. Arav's eyes welled up. She believed in me, even when I didn't deserve it. Dev looked away, then back. I saw your video. I hated how much it moved me. I wanted to stay angry, but I couldn't, because I saw her light in it. You showed the world the real her. Arav pulled out the old notebook and placed it on the table. She left this for you. I didn't open the last pages. I thought maybe it was yours to read. Dev hesitated, then opened it. His eyes scanned the last few entries, and suddenly, his face changed. He held up a small photo tucked between the pages. It was Mahor young and laughing, holding a tiny child of himself as a toddler. On the back it said, To my baby brother, don't forget to forgive, even when it hurts. Dev swallowed hard. She wanted peace between us. Arav nodded. Maybe we both needed this meeting more than we thought. They sat there, not as enemies or ex-family, but two people trying to hold together the pieces. Mahor left behind. When Arav returned home, Tara was waiting on the steps with a huge smile. You did it, didn't you? He smiled faintly. I did. It wasn't easy, but I feel lighter. Tara jumped up and handed him her sketchbook. Look what I made today. Inside were drawings of all the people from the orphanage laughing, dancing, holding hands, and in the middle, a drawing of Arav with a camera and a heart in his hands. That's you, she said, because you give people their hearts. Back he blinked fast, fighting tears. I don't deserve this much love. She shrugged. None of us do. But sometimes we get it anyway. That night, Arav uploaded a new video. It was simple, just him, sitting by a window, talking. No music, no edits. Today I met someone I was afraid to face. Someone I wronged. And I realized that healing doesn't mean forgetting the pain. It means being brave enough to walk through it. He paused, then added, if someone is waiting for your apology, don't wait too long. Sometimes the goodbye becomes the only memory. Don't let it be the last word. The video ended with a clip of Mayhor reading her favorite poem. Even if I leave early, promise me, you'll keep the lights on for someone else. That line hit deep. The comments section exploded. But one message stood out again, this time from an old man. My wife died 20 years ago. I never forgave myself for not being there. Your video made me visit her grave for the first time. Thank you, Arav. Closed his laptop. His purpose was becoming clearer now. But with clarity came something else. A letter. It arrived the next morning. No return address. Just his name. Inside was a newspaper clipping from years ago, Tara's orphanage fire, and a handwritten note. You've told her story, but not the full one. The truth is still hidden. Be ready. Araf's heart stopped. Who sent this? Why now? He called the orphanage. Did anyone visit or ask about Tara recently? The director paused. No, why? I think someone knows something. Something about her past. Arav, the director said slowly. There's something we never told her. Something we thought was lost forever. Arav felt cold. What do you mean? Her mother might still be alive. Arav's breath caught. But they said she died in the fire. That's what we were told. But this letter changes things. Arav looked over at Tara, laughing on the balcony, unaware of the storm building. He realized that the story he thought was over had just begun again. He clutched the letter tightly. It was time to uncover the truth, not just about Mayhar, but about Tara. Arav sat on the rooftop, the mysterious letter clutched in his hand, the words repeated in his mind. Her mother might still be alive. He stared at the newspaper clipping. Again, the fire at the orphanage was marked as an accident, but someone had drawn a red circle around the name Mrs. Rukhsana. That name wasn't familiar, but something about it felt important. He knew he couldn't tell Tara yet, not without proof, not without knowing the whole story. She had finally started smiling again. He couldn't take that from her, not now. He went back to the orphanage. The director, Mrs. Kamla, greeted him with nervous eyes. We never meant to hide anything, she said, her voice trembling. At the time, we were told her mother died in the fire. But recently someone sent us a parcel. No note, just a few photos and this. She handed Arav an old scarf, wrapped around a small diary. The scarf smelled faintly of lavender. He opened the diary. Inside the first page read, if you're reading this, I'm sorry I left you behind. The handwriting was soft, shaky, like someone had written it with tears in their eyes. Page after page told the story of a young woman who had escaped an abusive husband. She had taken shelter at the orphanage with her baby Tara. But the fire changed everything. According to the diary, she had tried to go back for Tara but was told the baby didn't survive. Heartbroken and alone, she disappeared. Arav read the final line aloud. I think of her every single night. If she's out there, tell her I never stopped loving her. Arav closed the diary and looked up at Mrs. Kamla. Happen. She shook her head. Back then, things were chaotic. Records were lost. People lied to protect themselves. Arav knew what he had to do. He posted a new video, carefully hiding Tara's identity but explaining the mystery of the fire, the letter, and the woman believed to be dead. If anyone knows a woman named Rukhsana, he said, please reach out. She may have lost someone in that fire and we need to know the truth. The response was overwhelming. Hundreds of comments, messages, tips, most were false leads. But then one email arrived with a single line. She lives in a small village near Radun. She runs a flower stall by the temple. No name, no phone number, just a location. Araf packed a small bag and took the next train. He didn't tell Tara where he was going, only that it was important. He hated lying to her, but this was something she couldn't handle, not until he was sure. After 12 hours of travel and another hour in a bumpy rickshaw, he arrived at the temple. The sun was setting, casting golden light on the white marble steps. Near the entrance, surrounded by marigolds and jasmine, stood a woman in a simple shawl, arranging flowers with delicate fingers. She looked older, fragile, but something about her eyes stopped Araf in his tracks. He had seen those eyes before on Tara. He approached slowly. Excuse me, he said, are you Rukhsana? The woman turned, startled. Her hands froze over the flowers. Who's asking? Araf hesitated, then handed her the diary. Her face went pale as she took it. Her fingers trembled as she opened the cover and saw her own handwriting. Her lips parted but no words came out. Where did you get this? It was sent to the orphanage, and I think your daughter is alive. Tears rolled down her face silently. She clutched the diary to her chest. I prayed for this moment every day, but I never thought, back in the city. Tara was growing worried. Arav hadn't answered her texts in 2 days. She paced the living room, staring at the clock. When he finally walked through the door, she rushed to him. Where were you? I was so scared. Arav looked at her carefully. This was the moment. He took her hands and led her to the sofa. Tara, he said gently, there's something I need to tell you. Something about your mother. Her body went stiff. My mother's dead. That's what you were told. But it might not be true. He showed her the scarf, the diary, the photos. At first, she stared in disbelief. Then her lips quivered. Are you saying she's alive? Arav nodded slowly. I met her. She didn't know you survived either. She thought you were lost in the fire. Tears spilled down Tara's cheeks. All these years, I thought I wasn't wanted, that I was abandoned. Arav shook his head. She never stopped looking. She lives in a village. She wants to meet you. But only if you're ready. Tara clutched the scarf tightly. Take me to her. The next morning they traveled together. The journey was quiet, filled with nervous glances and long silences. At the temple, Ruxana stood waiting, holding a single marigold. When she saw Tara, her knees nearly gave out. My baby, she whispered. Tara ran into her arms, sobbing. They held each other for what felt like hours. No words could fill the years they lost, but love did. Arav stared at the message on his phone again and again. You're looking in the wrong place. The fire wasn't an accident, and someone close to you knows the truth. His heart thudded hard. He had found Tara's mother. He had reunited a broken family. But now, everything felt shaken again. Who could have sent this, and what truth were they hiding? He didn't tell Tara right away. She was finally smiling again, sitting beside her mother and braiding her hair like a child who had found her home. He couldn't break that moment, but he also couldn't ignore the message. He quietly replied, Who are you? No response. He checked the number. It was unknown, untraceable. That night, Arav sat with Ruxana while Tara helped the temple women pack marigold garlands. Ma'am, he said softly, can I ask you something? She nodded. That night, the fire... Are you sure it was an accident? Her smile faded. No one ever questioned it. The building was old, the wiring was bad, but she paused. There was something strange. I remember hearing a loud sound before the fire started, like glass breaking, and a smell like kerosene, but I was too panicked to think. Arav's mind raced. Did anyone ever visit you after the fire? Someone who seemed nervous. Ruxana nodded slowly. Yes, a man. He said he worked at the orphanage. He told me Tara didn't survive, but I don't remember his name. He had a burn on his left hand. I remember that clearly. Arav's breath caught. He had seen that scar before on the hand of Mr. Sinha, the old accountant at the orphanage. He was the one who gave Arav access to Tara's old files. Arav had trusted him. Why would he lie? And why now? He made an excuse and left the village the next morning, taking the first bus back to the city. He went straight to the orphanage, but Mr. Sinha wasn't there. He hasn't shown up in 3 days, said one of the staff. Said he was feeling unwell. Arav asked for his address and rushed there. The door was half open. Inside, the room was a mess, papers everywhere, drawers pulled out, and in the center, a small metal box with old documents. Arav opened it slowly. Inside were burned photos, hospital records, and a handwritten report labeled, Fire Investigation Confidential. His hands trembled as he read. The fire wasn't an accident. It was set from inside. The report clearly mentioned signs of forced ignition, traces of kerosene, tampered fuse wires, and worst of all, the document was signed and dated, but never submitted. Mr. Sinha had hidden it all. Then he found a second paper, a letter from the trustee of the orphanage mentioning funding cuts, illegal adoptions, and a plan to remove certain children who were not registered. Tara's name was on the list. They were trying to erase her, but something went wrong. The fire got out of control. Arav felt sick. This wasn't just neglect. It was a crime. And someone had wanted to bury it forever. He copied everything and left quickly. He knew he had to tell Tara, but how? When he returned, Tara noticed something in his eyes. What is it? She asked. He hesitated. There's more about the fire. Someone tried to hide it. Someone who worked at the orphanage. Her face paled. Why? Why would they do that? Arav handed her the documents. She read them in silence. When she reached the end, she looked up. They tried to get rid of me. Arav nodded, but they failed. You survived, and now the truth is in your hands. Tara turned to her mother. Ruxana was crying quietly, holding her daughter's hand. I always knew something was wrong. I just didn't have the strength to find out. Arav stepped back. You do now, both of you, and we can bring this truth forward. Tara wasn't the same scared girl anymore. The one who once stood alone on the street with a small bag and no name. She was stronger now, and she had found her voice. She posted her own video that night. Sitting between Arav and her mother, she told the whole story. The truth about the fire, the lies, the people who tried to hide her. Her voice shook, but she didn't stop. They tried to erase me, but I'm still here, and I'm not hiding anymore. The video went viral. Thousands of people shared it. Journalists picked up the story. Former workers came forward. A retired police officer confirmed that the fire report was covered up. And then, a news channel exposed the orphanage trustees, leading to arrests. People called Tara brave, but she gave all the credit to Arav. He gave me a name, a home, and now, a voice. I only lived. But he made me live with purpose. A few days later, Arav stood on stage at a youth event. He was invited as a guest speaker. The same boy who once sat in silence, watching the world move without him, now stood before a cheering crowd. But he didn't boast. His voice was calm, humble. I'm not a hero, he said. I just did what was right, and I think that's something all of us can do. Tara watched from the audience, tears in her eyes. Her journey was painful, but it led her to people who truly saw her, loved her, believed in her. One of them now stood on a stage, not for fame but to remind others that healing was possible. As the applause echoed, Arav looked into the lights, remembering the day she first said goodbye. That goodbye gave him purpose. And now, they had both found something bigger than themselves: truth, love, and a life that no one could erase.